alaikum wa rahmatullah. Chapter An-Nisa, chapter number 4 in Al-Quran. In this chapter, An-Nisa, which is woman chapter, it discusses about and it focuses on justice and mercy, especially with the weak. In this chapter, it elaborates about all kind of people who could be oppressed, hence tyrannized, which includes orphans and their right, inheritance rule, male and female slave and their rights, because at that time in the old days there were slaves, there were people who are slaves, non-Muslim, and also discuss about non-Muslim minorities in Muslim land and how to treat them in mercy. Also it discusses about women, mercy and right, also people and other people who need support, or parents and neighbors and etc. So the first step towards justice begins from home. So fairness with your wife, which is the first step of mercy, of being justice and merciful. While reciting chapter An-Nisa, it starts by saying we are all descendants of one person, hence to emphasize on justice. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة. And then the chapter goes again and emphasize on women right. وعاشرهن بالمعروف, live with them with kindness, which here doesn't only mean being justice to women, is to bear hurt by them, and not only that, it is to treat them with patience and tenderness and to soothe their anger. And it warns men not to take back any of their dowry or force her to pay any money out of oppression, and it will be an evidence of sin. Then after, in the chapter, it mentions two things that prevent a person to treat people with mercy and fairness. The first kind of people are people who are misery, al-bukhl, al-bakhilun, and enjoy miserliness on people and conceal the bounty. الذين يبخلون ويأمرون الناس بالبخل. And people who spend wealth to be seen of people. Those are two kind of things that can prevent one being merciful and fair. In this chapter, it stresses in verses number 58, Allah says, indeed, God commands you to render back trust to whom they belong, and then you judge between people. Inna Allah ya'murukum an tu'addu al-amanat. And then at the last quarter of this chapter, it talks about justice even in war and war ethics, and the danger of hypocrites to society justice. After that, in verses 97-98, Allah tells weak people what to do. If a person is weak, should you just only wait for the justice to happen, or this is something required from that person who's oppressed and weak? So what is required from that person is to change their status. That God's earth is so spacious and big, ardullahi wasi'a. So he can immigrate and change his status. You don't just sit and wait. There is a room for changing. You can change your status. You are not only weak. You can go to another place, try a new thing, experiment new thing, have new challenges. Don't fear from a person who can oppress you. There's always a room for a change, your status, and Allah's earth is so spacious. You can immigrate where there's justice and there's windows of opportunity. Point in this chapter, it contains the biggest number of verses ends by God's attributes. The attributes found in the chapter are the all-knowing, Al-Alim, the all-wise, Al-Hakim, God's power, mercy, and forgiveness. Mind you, knowledge, wisdom, and power and mercy are what yield justice. So those are the, as they say, the magic that how justice can be done by having those attributes. Being knowledgeable, being wise, powerful, mercy, all those can yield to justice. I hope this chapter is easily explained, and see you with other chapters.